Yesterday, the Prime Minister convened a meeting of the Incident Response Group. By bringing ministers and senior officials together, we are making sure that we are using every tool we can to aid in this response. I'm also in close contact with my counterpart from the Northwest Territories, Minister Thompson, and have offered any additional support that they might need. The stress of leaving your home, not knowing if it will be there when you return, is a reality now faced by thousands. It is during these dark times that we see our country come together. I've spoken with Minister Ellis in Alberta and Minister Ma in British Columbia to thank them for their support and what they're providing for the Northwest Territories. I would also like to recognize all of the host communities that have been welcoming those displaced by wildfires. And residents of the Northwest Territories and evacuees can call 811 in the Territory and 1-844-259-1793 out of Territory if they have questions about the evacuations. To the firefighters, members of the Canadian Armed Forces, emergency management officials, and community volunteers who have been working around the clock, we are grateful for your service. And to those being evacuated, know that the Government of Canada is here for you. We are working closely with our provincial and territorial partners to help with immediate response, and will be there through the recovery and rebuild process. Please continue to follow the guidance from your local authorities. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. And now I will turn it over to Minister Blair.
Well, thank you very much, Minister Sajjan. Bon après-midi, tout le monde. Let me begin by, first of all, I'm speaking to you from my home, which is located in the traditional territory of the Mississauga of the Credit, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, and the Wendat peoples. I'd also like to begin by acknowledging how difficult this period of time has been for all of those who have been affected by these unprecedented wildfires occurring currently in the Northwest Territories, British Columbia, and across Canada. Our top priority is to keep people safe, and the federal government is here to support you. We will do whatever it takes to ensure that you can return to your communities and livelihoods as quickly as possible. And today, I will have the opportunity to provide an update on the military's contribution to the evacuations and firefighting efforts in the Northwest Territories, where half of the population has now been displaced. On Wednesday evening, territorial authorities advised all residents of Yellowknife to evacuate the city by noon today due to the threat of a large fire just west of the city. This order affects all 22,000 residents of the capital city, which of course is over 40% of the population of the entire Northwest Territory. This evacuation also includes the First Nations communities of Deta and Dilo, which are under threat from the rapidly moving fire. All residents are currently advised to evacuate by air or by car towards Alberta, where they will find support and accommodations in Valley View, Fox Creek, and Red Deer. We know that conditions remain very difficult, and I would urge all residents to please follow the advice from local authorities so that we can ensure that you can remain safe as you evacuate. Now, with respect to the Canadian Armed Forces, since Saturday, Canadian Armed Forces members have been helping the Territory's first responders with evacuation and firefighting efforts. Following a request for assistance from the Government of Northwest Territories, a CAF reconnaissance team deployed to Yellowknife on the weekend, and they were followed very quickly by approximately 150 Canadian Armed Forces members who were then deployed to the region. And that includes 120 soldiers from the 2nd Canadian Divisions out of Canadian Force Base Valcartier and 30 aviators. On Monday, the Royal Canadian Air Force evacuated approximately 100 people from Hay River and Fort Smith. Canadian Armed Forces members are currently out working the fires. They're mopping up and clearing debris as fires are put out. They're dousing hotspots to prevent further outbreaks. And very importantly, they have been working with local officials to construct fire breaks in and around the western region of Yellowknife and Deta to stop the spread and to protect critical infrastructure, homes, and that in community. Canadian Armed Forces members are also providing aircraft for mobility and logistics tasks, and of course for air evacuations. Hercules, Globemaster, and Polaris aircraft are currently tasked to conduct evacuation flights to Edmonton and Calgary. And today I can confirm that the first military evacuation flight from Yellowknife took place last night on board a C-130 Hercules aircraft, which safely carried 79 long-term care residents to Edmonton. This is an important contribution that the Canadian Armed Forces can make because they have fit-for-purpose aircraft that are able to move people who may be non-ambulatory, on stretcher or in wheelchair, and they can also provide medical personnel to provide support and assistance to those who may need it. Additionally, military aircraft are scheduled for today. We'll continue to focus on helping the most vulnerable, and we'll be there to help for as long as it takes. I'm advised, for example, that we're working with local medical officials in order to safely evacuate people from hospital to a hospital in Vancouver. And again, Canadian aircraft, Canadian Armed Forces aircraft, and Canadian medical personnel will be there to ensure that that can be done safely. The Canadian Armed Forces is also providing planning assistance and logistical support to territorial authorities and local firefighting crews. And for example, members of the Canadian Rangers are receiving and processing evacuees at the Yellowknife Airport. I'd like to take this opportunity, if I may, to thank all members of the Canadian Armed Forces who have been working around the clock to help fight these fires in Northwest Territories and have put in an extraordinary service to Canada and to Canadians throughout this long and difficult firefighting season. Our country is experiencing the worst forest fire season on record. And this summer, Canadian Armed Forces members have deployed across the country. They've worked in Nova Scotia, in Quebec, in Alberta, British Columbia, and now the Northwest Territories. And they will continue to be there for Canada and for Canadians. Let me conclude by saying to all Canadians, we'll do everything we can to keep you and your loved ones' livelihoods and communities safe and secure. We'll be with you there throughout this evacuation, and we'll continue to support you through the very difficult and challenging times. I want to acknowledge how difficult and traumatic it can be for people to leave their homes and leave their communities with the uncertainty and fear that all of that would entail. I want to assure them the RCMP will be in your community to make sure that the evacuation is orderly and that your homes and your community remain safe. We've made exemptions, for example, to allow people to transport their pets because we know how difficult it can be for people to leave them. We will also be there when you arrive at an evacuation center to ensure that you receive the support and the assistance that you may require. There's a long road ahead, but I want to assure you all, we will stand by you in this time of need. And I now turn it over to my colleague and friend, Minister Rodriguez.
Merci beaucoup, mon cher collègue. En premier lieu, ce que je veux dire à la population des territoires du Nord-Ouest, c'est qu'on est là.
The Northwestern Territory is we will continue to be there by your side. We'll do everything necessary to help and assure the safety of people. That's our priority, number one priority. Last weekend, as my colleague, Minister Sajjan, we didn't waste a second. He approved immediately. We sent personnel to fight against the forest fires. We had people from the armed forces, but also the RCMP on the field. We have logistical support. We've sent planes. There's the Coast Guard, and there's also financial support to support First Nations to deploy emergency measures. And for the public services, the Northwest Territories are being helped with the mechanics for emergency contracts. So we are there on all points. And the government is there to fight the forest fires, to help with the question of the population. And yesterday, my colleagues have mentioned, the Prime Minister has brought together the intervention group. It was clear, work together to get the people out. We want to get everybody out, fight the forest fires. And for me, I've personally spoken to the president of Air Canada, Canadian North, and different companies. They've assured their collaboration. They've increased the number of flights to help evacuate the population. For example, Air Canada added yesterday, added more today. Other airline companies have increased the number of flights, and Transport Canada is in direct contact with other companies to ensure that there's additional capacity throughout the evacuation as well. This is very important. Air Canada have assured they've capped the prices of all flights leaving from Yellowknife. You know, I've heard the situation, the possibility of price increases. I've taken the phone immediately. I've called the CEO of Air Canada and I've spoken to other companies, and the message was very clear. There are no types of exploitation will be tolerated by the government of Canada. So Transport Canada has received different demands to facilitate under these conditions. They've said yes to each of those requests. So we are enabling pilots to extend their flight hours without compromising safety at any times. We've enabled people who have animals to bring them safely. You know, that becomes often a member of the family. we are less strict as well with people who may have been during the leaving of the house, may have forgotten their idea. We are far less strict. The important thing is to be able to evacuate everybody safely. And if I may, I'd like to congratulate and thank all the people who are working tirelessly in an extremely difficult situation